Back in the old days when Rex and I really enjoyed our duets. Now, not so much, but we still enjoy the music. All sorts. All sorts. That's right. There's joy in the music, and that's what we need to talk about today is joy. Not the ones that are on the news either. This guy. This guy here. Yeah, that's what we need to talk about today because it's like, I'm not going to say it's gone, but it's sure enough hiding. So what's going on? People are getting crazy here. There's just too much happening. You notice in 2019 things were hadn't gotten bad yet. Election hadn't come yet. There's still people fighting Trump, but whatever. End of 19, wow, there came that there Wuhan Chinese virus. Well, we didn't know about it until, oh, what? We heard about it in January. We didn't think about it in February, March. People started getting it. And by midsummer, the whole damn world was scared of it. And by November, let's see, I went in the hospital for a while. End up getting a heart cath. Found out that I have a mega disease, but nonetheless, for those of you who know that story, it's pulmonary hypertension, which they send you home and say you have somewhere between now and 10 years, but we'll monitor you. And I say, well, thank you very much. I've tried to learn about it, and quite honestly, I think what they're telling me is the best available. So I'm going with this guy here. Jesus, you're the great healer, the great physician. I don't care how hard you make it. You can do whatever you want. You take me any day, I'm fine. I'm good. Been talking with my wife about that. We're all good. We've got that taken care of. So not to worry, but today is not the day, and this oxygen helps a lot. So what's going on? Gee, where do you start? Where do you want to start? You want to start with Zelensky's going to go already into Russia with NATO troops. Well, that's scary. With NATO troops means, by definition, if a NATO ally is attacked, we are bound by treaty contract to defend said nation. If the NATO troops decide to go invade a sovereign non-NATO country, i.e., Russia, keep clear here. I'm not defending Russia. I'm saying something's misplay here. Defending Russia, I don't know Russia. I gotta say this, every Russian that I have met that's truly from Russia, born, lived, was a Russian, and for whatever reason ended up over here and decided to stay, who I've had the distinct honor to have a reasonable conversation with. I got to tell you, they're just like everybody else. I don't agree with everything they had to say, but I sure enough thought they were interesting people, loved talking to them, and I like people that have strong opinions. And buddy, they got them. So, attack Russia. Well, nobody else has ever done that and got away with it. We all seem to go back to Napoleon and Hitler. They didn't go well for them. It won't go well for anybody else. And old Zelensky with his leather pants and high heels, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I could say that 3 or 4 times. I don't get it. I'm missing the point. I'm not going. I hope nobody I know goes. And I hope they just quit that crap. But I don't know. What could happen, there's a whole nother situation right there. Yeah. Okay, based on what's going on now, number one, what's number one? Biden? Unfortunately, number one. Biden is a blunt-edged sword. He is trying to use a butter knife as a war weapon, and I'm giving them a lot of extra points saying that it's actually a knife. It's a butter knife. It ain't much, buddy, but butter knives against bullets, butter knives and bullets. I mean, you might be able to like deflect a bullet off a butter knife, do a little Jason Statham thing or John Wick. I don't know who those guys are, but they might be able to do it. I know I'm not going to try. I would be lucky enough to actually make it work, but I'm not going to try. I can get a firearm out of a concealed position and with a shooting solution in less than 0.75 seconds now. I mean, it's like I don't ever want to do that in anger. Honest to God, I pray, dear Lord, that you would not put me in a position where I have to do that in anger. That's a real prayer. That's really a prayer. I mean, I mean that. On the other hand, remember old Reb Tevye, on the other hand, and then finally he keeps saying it so many times, and finally he said, there is no other hand. You got to do it. You got to do it. Do it quick. Do it well. Anyway, there's this suicide thing going on, and then they're just asking. It's like you're in junior high school. That's where all this crap goes on. Junior high school. You're in junior high school, and the bullies are all surrounding you. Now, they're bullies. They're taking advantage of you. You've probably been idiotic in the way you acted, and it drew their scent. How do I know that? Anyway, you got some choices. You can just take a whooping, or you can walk up to the biggest one and kick them in the shins really hard and make a fairly hasty retreat. Or you can just stick around and get the absolute crap beat out of you. Now, I'm not recommending any of those. All those are is a list of possibilities. And that's what I like to do. I like to explore the possibilities. So consider what's about to happen there. You got Ukraine, you got what is this going in and kicking the bully? I mean, I don't know if I'm going to call Russia a bully, but let's go there for now. I mean, there are other ideologies in play here that we have not the time to discuss. That took hundreds of years to develop that stuff. So, but if he's going to get the absolute crap kicked out of him, and the only problem is we're in there feeding him weapons and troops, which means we're probably going to get our butts kicked pretty good too. Now we go on to could it get to nukes? Well, you are talking to a man who said he would have no trouble at all using them if he felt it was necessary. You put your troops on his land. I mean, I don't know how much you want to tease this rattlesnake. It's going to bite. So I'm suggesting preparations by all, but that's kind of like up to you. It's up to you. What's going on in various places? This Gaza Israel thing. I mean, okay, look, those guys are going to fight no matter what. You can't let both of them in a bar at the same time. It is not going to end well. It's best that you got these guys over here, you got these guys over here, and some of these guys are getting along with each other. I just know this, and they don't want to get into it. But the problem is, no matter how well they get along with each other personally, it will eventually come down to a day where they have to choose, and they will choose their birthright. So it's best not to stir them monsters up too much. I mean, it's just silly. And then picking a side, I'm going to tell you right now, you go in to the Muslim world or the Jewish world or a combination thereof, because the Muslims, they'll kill each other. And you go in there and you say, okay, enough of this. We want the oil. We're going to put an end to this. We're going to put troops in here and we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Well, the thing is, these two groups of people that were already bitter enemies and fighting each other to the death both turn on you. We've done this over and over again. It's not like I have to like make a big point. When I say that, you just go, yeah, that's what happened. And we do it anyway. I don't, insanity. You know, the old, excuse me, this itches sometimes. The old insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, you know what? We didn't used to say that every day, but now we do. Must be more insanity afloat. Anyway, I'm thinking that I've never done the same thing twice the same way. And so to expect the same results might be insanity. I don't know. Just kind of the flip flop there. But no, I'm actually seeking different results. That's why I never do things twice the same way. I want to see what's available. And that's me, and that does not have to be you. That's just the way I do it. And you're watching this long, you must want to see how it's done, I guess. I don't know. You do you. I'm going to do me. But I'm going to tell you this. If you and I are both involved in a situation where society has broken down and people are robbing each other's houses, and you happen to be walking up my driveway, I will fire a warning shot. I will. Or I might just come out and say, can I help you with something? And you might tell me you want the only thing that's on your mind is food and water or something to wear. If I have something extra to wear, I might give it to you. If I have something extra to eat, let's say I cooked too much yesterday, it's going to go bad. You'll get it. I'll give it to you here. Now, if you come back and bring 10 of your friends with you because I did that, I have only myself to blame for that. And yes, at that point, all 10 of you will be laying across the driveway, one way or the other. But the point is we're not there yet. And a lot of you think we'll never get there, and I pray to God that we don't. But there's many places in this world that were just as well off as we are that got from there to the point I just described in a matter of weeks. Could be days. You go without water for 3 days and you'll get a little bit crazy. Yeah. If you know somebody that has it, you might be willing to, well, you get the idea. And I'm willing to tango. Believe me, I have very little to lose. So here's the gig. I'm not sure how we don't go there, but I pray to God, the Lord above, that I live until November 5th so that I can vote for Donald Trump. I want to live that long. After that, I'm here. I'm here to help whoever I can. Be a couple neighbors and a couple of families, and short of that, the rest of them can go. Well, let's just say climb a tree. They can go climb a tree. Yeah, maybe they can be climate activists, and maybe their gender won't matter anymore, and all kinds of neat things will happen. But things are getting really, really, really bad. And, you know, they tried to kill Donald Trump on, maybe, I got to think, July. Let me take these up. Hello there. July, was it the 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania? A place I'm familiar with. I was born just south of there, just outside of Pittsburgh. And, yeah, I actually know that place. And, matter of fact, it's extremely close to my first wife's family, who are some still there. My point is, my God, they may have actually, some of them might have been there. Who knows? Hey, what a scary time. A 20-year-old got on a roof by himself with, I mean, I don't know how many of these videos you guys have seen and all that, but forget about all the who said, what said, did said. You hadn't heard the truth yet. And you probably won't, because you still don't know who killed Kennedy. And you're not going to know the truth of this story either, because it's going to be covered up. It already is. It's done. Whatever. However, we do have a lot of cameras. And those cameras indicated the presence that I personally counted of over 150 law enforcement or first responder types, all the way from snipers down to meter maids, that were in one way or another not just visiting. There were plenty more that were in the crowd, and you could call them undercover. They weren't. I mean, they were just off duty, but they were in the crowd. So you got those I haven't even counted. And that many people couldn't figure out to take out this young fellow on a roof while spectators are pointing up and saying, "Hey, there's a kid up there on the roof with a gun. He's pointing at the president. Don't you think we ought to do something?" And the cop says, "Stand back." Well, and then they left their poster. Who knows what they did? You can hear any civil, sane, normal explanation, or you can go all the way to the little kid that when you ask why his toy's broken, he tells you that the elephant stepped on it. I mean, the roof was too steep, right? It was. It was at an angle that would be compliant for wheelchairs. I get that. People just start talking, and they don't even care that the world knows they're lying. It's just like, I'm not going to tell the truth. I'm just going to sit here and my mouth will move, and it's not going to be the truth. Now, those of you who think that I do that sometimes, it turns out you're right. I do that sometimes. I'm thinking you do too. And when it comes to saving your own hide, you get it. That a lot of really, really good people go south when it comes to saving their own hide. And then once they do that, they are marked and they're ready for postage. So, in order to avoid being Arkansided over this, most just choose to ask what it is they're supposed to say and say that. And that's about the best you're going to get out of it. Personally, I'll tell you what I think. I think as a 20-year-old kid was a total patsy, as was Lee Harvey Oswald. I don't honestly think Lee Harvey Oswald even took a shot. You know, he was in the building. But then again, this crook guy, he was on the building. Maybe he took a shot, maybe he didn't. Did you notice how, like, you have all these videos and stuff, but then when it comes to showing the body, we got to blur that out because it just wouldn't be appropriate for YouTube or whatever. Well, let's just say even blurred out, that didn't look right. And the cartridges, well, we found 8. How do you... I didn't see any of them on that. I mean, that the one guy held up one, but nah. Who did the forensics that took 8 cartridges and matched them to that rifle, and took the cartridge, or the cartridge and the projectile that ultimately took down this crook guy, and put those together and made sure they were a match, and the entry and exit wounds and the entire topography of his corpse, that much like how the autopsy of Kennedy was altered. You don't even get to hear about it. It's like, yeah, I got shot in the head, man. I killed you when you got shot in the head. We all know that. Yeah, wait. Donald Trump got shot in the head. He didn't get killed, but I guess the ear is technically part of the head. God bless. I mean, was God right there at that moment? Even he has no problem at all saying, "I'm here because the Lord wants me here, and I know that because that shot should have killed me." The fact that I moved where I did, when I did, why I did, as it whizzed past my head, is unexplainable by any other means than intervention by our Creator. I believe that. I truly do, Don. God bless you, man. I truly, truly believe that. And you're here for a reason. And the reason is that those who really know, I mean, just go vote for him. Don't get shamed out of voting. I don't care how you vote, just vote. Vote one time. Don't do like your Democrat brothers. But we're going to be so many of us voting one time that they can't rig it. They absolutely can't rig it. I will be in a wheelchair to go vote, but I'm telling you, go vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for. That comes from your heart. If you have, if you want to vote for, God, I can't even say it. Open borders. You want to vote for, my favorite one right recently is the Trump had a discussion with a waitress. You can see the video. He's just talking to her, and he's eating lunch, and he says, here's your tip, and she said, "Boy, I'll tell you, I appreciate. I don't know how much that tip was, but I got this suspicion that it was a significant tip, because otherwise this conversation would not have occurred. But the conversation was, it would be really nice if she didn't have to pay tax on that." And Trump, being who he is, said, you make a good point. He's on video saying it. You make a good point. Tips are different than income. Tips are much more akin to gifts. Appreciation. No, that's not tax tips. And then shortly, like a day or so later, in his next speech, he says, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take all tips and gratuities, however he said it, and remove taxes on them. You won't pay tax on that part." And that has been for the service industry. And think what you're talking about: taxi drivers, bus drivers, concierge, certainly waiters in your hair salon, whatever. There's a whole group of people, and these are the little guys. How to give the little guys a break that's meaningful. It means something to them every day. It's brilliant. I thought that was brilliant. He said he was going to do that. And it was just a matter of a couple days later, when Kamala's doing one of her, the only thing she says is Trump lies. She doesn't have a platform. But she finally put something where she says, Trump lies, and by the way, we're going to not tax tips. She didn't say, just like Donald Trump or anything. Which, if she'd have done that, if she'd said, look, Trump's got this really great idea about not taxing tips, and I actually agree with him on that one, and we're going to adopt that as well. That actually would have been cool, because she doesn't know it, but what she would be doing is she wouldn't be doing anything against herself. She'd just be saying, I recognize a good idea when I see one. He had a good idea. I'm going to take it. It actually would have been points for her. But plagiarism's different. Plagiarism is wrong. Even if you're plagiarizing something good. I can plagiarize Moby Dick and say, Moby Dick by Rax Frizzle. Or A Tale of Two Cities by Rax Frizzle. It was the best of times, and Rax liked it. Yeah, it was kind of worse too. Anyway, we could do that, but it would just be plagiarism. It would just be wrong, even if it was like funny and good. It'd be wrong if I didn't say, oh, by the way, this is from. Yeah. Now, Much like that, remember Joe Biden ended up getting out of a Senate race because he was accused, rightfully so, of plagiarizing in speech. And you can go online and find where it's funny because they don't say what office, but he stepped down from a candidate race on Senate one time. If I find it, I'll link it to this. It's humorous because it sounds like same speech for stepping down from the presidential race. So it turns out that's not his first rodeo on that one. But just all this lying and deception and no platform, just Trump's a liar. Yeah, like what did remember after the debate that ended Joe's career for good. I mean, it was hard to watch. I watched that and I felt bad for him, man. I really did. But at the end, his wife was yelling to this crowd like, "Joe, you did such a good job. You answered all the questions." And I'm thinking, God bless. I wouldn't want them to do that to my 4-year-old at daycare. But nonetheless, or maybe that would be okay for 4-year-old at daycare, but not beyond. And and then she said, "And what did Trump do?" And then that they prompt the audience to do this, so they get this big cheer. He lied. Well, that's kind of not the way the world saw that debate, but you get the idea. That's what we're being fed. And if it's coming from the left, you're getting fed that. You're getting fed a whole big bunch of that. So I don't know how we get them out of here, but we got to get them out of here. And then they're going to come after Trump like nobody's business. I really would like everybody to pray. Pray as you pray. I mean, you pray your prayer. I'll pray my prayer, but pray for the safety of Donald Trump and his family. And thank in your prayers, you can start with praising the Lord. You can start with saying, "Lord, I'm a totally imperfect human being, and I'm not worthy of your sacrifice and my salvation, but I humbly and thankfully accept that." And the thanks would be extended to you taking mercy and on this country and on Donald Trump with that bullet. I'm not sure how that happened. I bet I'm going to put it on you, and I'm not going to say how you did it because I don't know how you did it. But I'm just going to say thank you that you did it. Yes. And then I'm going to say it's time for me to do something for you, Lord. It's the only thing that we were put here for, and that it amounts to sacrifice. But tell somebody about Jesus. It makes you feel good. And if they shun you, just don't make a big deal out of it. Just kind of nod your head and walk off and say and point out, I'll pray for you over there. Anyway, do that. Do that. That's like most of it. And then, give as you see fit to your church. Give as you see fit to campaigns and such. But give as you see fit to your neighbor. And to, I don't know, I'm not recommending people go around giving $5 bills to the guys that sit on the corner. If that's on your heart and you're supposed to do it, then that's between you and God. You guys work it out. I'm not going there today. He hasn't told me to do that, and I'm not going to do it. So when he does, if he does, hey, be no problem at all. So, but give. There's 1,000 ways to give, to compliment, to be nice. My goodness, be nice. Love your friends. Let them know that you do. Every once in a while, family. Oh, absolutely. And definitely, if you're married, I pray that you and your spouse are best friends too. Not first, but also. That's like incredibly cool. So that's where I am today. More tomorrow, but I just wanted to hit a couple of things. But there's so many. There's so many. So God bless all of you. Thank you for watching. And just as a little treat here, maybe we'll let young Rax serenade you on the way out. How was that?